Hello, how are you all doing? I hope you're all very well. Who have we got in? We've got Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Hi, babe. Hi, everybody. Thank you for all the new follows as well. Let me just get my alerts up. Yeah, we've got a very special show today. We've got an amazing artist on one of my record labels. Hello, Proper Dom. 50 months. Oh my God. That's a long time. That is a long time. Thank you, mate. I hope you're good. Hello, Arctic Barbers. Hi, everybody. Hello. How are you all doing? Hi, M14. I know you're in the you're in tonight, aren't you? We've got one of your tunes in. Just to remind people as well, you know, if you want your tunes fast tracked, really, really important that you send me a message. You can't just send me an email, because that's where I have so many emails. The point of getting it fast tracked is, the point of messaging me is so that I see the message. So you have to message me on Facebook or Instagram. So you message me on there. Thank you, One Fox Snakes. Message me on Instagram or on Facebook and tell me your email address and let me know the track name, and do that before 4 p.m. on a Tuesday. Not telepathically, Kelly, no. Before 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, and then I will add it to the show. Yeah, 4 p.m. English time. Thank you. Oh my goodness! What does that noise mean? We've got a hype train. Oh my God! Thanks, guys. Thank you. Why have we got a hype train? Oh, we've got Bosky in with 47 months. Digital Industries with 20 months. And of course, Proper Dom with 50 months. 12, 24, 36, 48. That's 4 years. 4 years and 2 months, Proper Dom. Wow. That's crazy. Thank you, everybody. Hello, Twisted Glyph. Hello, Dr. Droogkloot. I might have got your email, yes, but if you want your track to be fast-tracked, Dr. Droogkloot, you need to send me a message on either Facebook or Instagram, because I have had so many emails with so many tracks, and I'm very far behind because of life. I've been ill. I've had my operation. I took a lot of time off. We now have the kids full time. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. So it means that I've not been able to go through every single email. So because of that fact, if you do want your track to be fast tracked, please send me a message on either Facebook or Instagram before 4 p.m. English time, BST, on a Tuesday, and I will put it on that day's show for you. It's the only way I can do it without going through like probably 500 emails, and probably never getting to yours. So yeah. I hope that makes sense. I do say it every single show as well. So thank you for your understanding. Okay. Yeah, just set a reminder or something. No, I haven't even done my hair properly. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. We're here anyway. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm a bit hot, actually. Hang on. Is this perimenopause? God, if you hear that laughing in the background, that's my special guest. Shall we say hello? Here we go. This is Damien. Hi, Damien.
Hi, Amber. Hi, everyone.
Everyone say hello to Damien. Right. Be nice.
Hi, guys.
Say hello now. Thank you.
How's it going?
They're all saying hello now. Yes, good. There we go. So I'm going to quickly introduce Damien. Well, so. Are you? Yeah. Is there a bit of an? Oh, hang on. Hello. What my child saying? What are you shouting for? I was pretending. What?
Honestly, I thought
God.
you was breathing. Oh, you scared me. I honestly could have thought you were yelling at someone.
I'm not really yelling. Well, I am. I'm yelling at chat. I'm telling them off.
She's okay. She's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Mummy's fine. Mummy's okay.
No one is. Feel my heart. Feel it.
Oh, bless you. No.
I thought you were trying to top us.
She never hears me shouting, so it's probably a little bit strange for her. I love you.
Oh.
I mean, I guess that's good, isn't it? That she was worried because she heard me shouting. So there you go.
She's got you back.
Oh, I know they're brilliant, my kids. I love them to bits. But yeah, I'm just gonna quickly change the volume of your microphone a bit, or are you not too close to your microphone? Is that what's happened?
I can. Yeah, is that better?
I can put you up a bit. I want you to be comfortable. So I've just put you. Okay, that's fine. I've got you higher.
Can you hear me okay now? Is that okay?
Yeah, but we've got the lovely proximity effect there. Yay! Okay, I think that's all right. It doesn't seem to be peaking or anything. Oh, so Control 4 says I hear a bit of echo. Why is there echo? Are you sure? But it's not critical. I can't hear any.
Okay, let me turn my speakers down a bit. Does that help?
Okay. Yeah, I might do a little bit.
How about that? Any good? Mm-hmm. I can hear you. I can still hear you. Are we good?
You can still hear me. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I think that sounds all right. So yeah, basically, I have signed an album of Damien's, like a whole album, and it's on Transportal Digital. It's out now. This album it's amazing. So basically the way that I met Damien came over and he showed me this album in its entirety. We went through all the tracks together, and it's a type of trance that is very reminiscent of the 90s style, everything that we know and love about that style. And yeah, I fully believe in Damien as an artist, and you know what he's done with this album. So I'm going to be doing a bit of an interview with Damien now. So we're gonna, and if anyone's got any questions for Damien, yay! Well, it's so lovely to have you on here, mate. So can you just give us a bit of background around what you actually do as because you're also a very accomplished musician, aren't you?
So yeah, at the moment I'm full-time guitarist basically. So I teach guitar during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, but I play in it's such a contrast to my love of trance, but I play in a country band, quite a well-known sort of UK country band, and we're currently touring the UK, doing all the festivals. So like Friday, Saturday and Sunday evening I'm out performing, and then midweek I'm sort of teaching. So yeah, that's what I do at the moment, and I'm just sat in my studio at the moment. I actually finished lessons at 7:00. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm sort of living the dream at the minute. But my roots have always been trance, and that's kind of even before I had guitar lessons. I had Technics 1210s, like aged sort of 18 years old at university. I think I spent my overdraft on a Vestac mixer and some Technics 1210s.
I think that's money well spent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable. So, but yeah, currently I'm doing about, I think we've got 82 shows this year, and I'm doing, in the next 2 months, I think I'm doing 16 festivals, playing all the classic country songs and all the modern stuff.
Wow.
And then in between I'm making basically trance music, which is a complete, I mean, I used to be being a guitar teacher, I used to sort of play heavy metal, and it's quite melodic is heavy metal, and I think that's where the trance connection comes in. a lot of metal and heavy rock stuff is very similar, not sound wise, but the way it's written. And I think that's why I sort of, because I listen to a lot of classical music, I think that's why I kind of always end up going back to trance. So country guitarist currently, and trying to teach in between, which is awesome, to be fair.
It's very similar to my situation as well. I mean, as we both know, it's very, very hard as a self-employed artist to make a living from just one thing, or just like having to survive on gigs alone, for example. But the fact that you just came back from Dubai recently, didn't you?
Oh God, yeah. We've literally, our promoter, we've got an amazing promoter and management that we work for, and we were given like 3 weeks notice to be flown out, all expenses paid, to headline a festival in Dubai. And we were actually being supported by the Hoosiers and Exhibit, which is just mental. Yeah. So like we spent the day in the swimming pool. I may have spent a little bit too long on the inflatable pink flamingo, but we bumped into these guys, and we were just spent the day with them, having a few drinks, getting ready for the festival. And then we were like, all right, guys, we'll see you later then. What are you doing? And we're like, oh, yeah, we're the Hoosiers. And we were like, oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's an amazing band. I feel really lucky to be part of it. And we're just it's just really taking off now. So, but I still, if I'm honest, like just because that's the best way to be about anything, it's not my favorite genre. So there are occasions where I'm sort of playing a Dolly Parton song and I'm thinking, I wish I was like playing Binary Finery in front of like 30,000 people. But yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I know you well enough to know that you'll get into it no matter what, because it's all, it's, when you're in that situation, you're just part of the, you'll be part of that performance and just go with it. But I think it's so inspiring to see someone who is, it's the reason why I say that is it's because I see a lot of people coming into the music industry and quitting at the first hurdle. And I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that we assume that we can make it in the one genre that we love the most, and that will be that. But in reality, having the ability to create different types of music and be parts of different industry, different genres, different scenes, even down to sync library work and doing adverts, or maybe music for the moving image or gaming music, and then the gig side of things, being in a band. I think that it's really helpful for people to see you on here, to show them.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, I really do, because it's every one of us who makes our own music in our own rooms, in our own bedrooms, at home, on our own. A lot of the time, we forget that kind of aspect of the community aspect of things, and the fact that you could actually get a band together. Can, and it would really help you to learn so much about collaboration, about being a part of something, bigger than yourself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one thing that I've learned, aged now 45, is it's not about necessarily within a band situation. It's not necessarily. I mean, you've got to have the skills and the ability, but if you're not personable and humble, you don't get very far. So being able to work with all different kinds of people. I mean, and I was a session musician 2 years ago. I was a session musician for Butlins. So I'd get to play in about 13 different tribute bands all around the country.
Wow.
And because because I can sight read music, I used to
Yeah.
just turn up to different gigs and play from an iPad and kind of, work that way. So being able to play and being exposed to, even if it's not your thing, all these different kinds of music and still giving it 100%, because people have still paid their ticket and they still want to see a good performance just because it's not your favorite song. And it really helps you grow as a person. Because so like 20 years ago, I probably, I was wet behind the ears. You fall out with a lot more people, and you learn to be able to deal with all different kinds of environment by playing with different people. But now I finally got a band together where we're all actually best friends. It's amazing, and that's really rare. But yeah, you've got to have a backup. If you've got gigs going on, you still need your bread and butter. So that's why I still teach. I still love teaching because I teach. My youngest student is an 8-year-old girl called Evelyn, and I teach her how to play the drums, and she fucking loves it. She's absolutely mint, and she loves it. And my oldest student, I teach him bass, and he's like 64, and he just does it because, and it's just music, isn't it? It's sharing music. I mean, if you've got a good song is a good song, no matter what the genre is. So I'm just full of music.
Yeah, you are. I mean, in the time that we've spent together as well in person, I had such a great feeling about you. And when I heard this album, honestly, I think I really.
That's why I reached out. That's why I reached out to you, Amber, because of you as a person.
Aww.
Yeah.
Stop it! You're gonna make me cry.
No, it's true. It's true, though. It is. But yeah, I had a good vibe from the offset. You kind of know, don't you? It's like animals. They can tell straight away.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean by that, and like it's the thing is, it's so difficult because you've been so successful in these other areas, and consistently so, and I think that it's really important that that's been like where you're, like we said, that's where your bread and butter is, but then this other where your heart is, where this other side of you lives. It's so difficult, especially when you don't have a name yet within any within the industry. So with me setting up the release on my label, we got you on Spotify, which has now been able to start you off on people being able to be aware of you, and it's that social proof, isn't it? And it's really strange to me because we do live in a time now where social proof is so important, and when you look at your specific the stuff that you do in the band and like I say, the consistency of that and all of the places and all the management side of it, all of that, and then we come to you as an artist with the trance stuff. It's kind of like starting again, which is
and that's that's what I'm really looking forward to, going back to being 20. So to give you a bit of a background on these 10 tracks, 5 of them were written in 2001 on FL9.
Oh, I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, Fruity Loops 9. And I've had them in my head for 20 years.
Wow.
But when I was in my early 20s and made them, I didn't know about production, and I didn't know about mixing and mastering, and I didn't know about me. I think it was too young. It was too early for me to do anything about it, because I think I would have done. I got them cut onto vinyl, and they sounded a bit shit. I ended up losing them at a house party. But I used to try and play these 5 songs in the nightclubs, unreleased white label songs, and they went down really well. And then I think they were stolen with a lot of my other records when I did a house party. So I was mortified about that. And then to cut a long story really short, here we are in 2025, and went through a quick, without going too deep into stuff, went through a quick a situation last year where I split up with my partner and had spare time, and I literally decided to buy the most recent version of FL Studio, and I thought I'd really go to town and got the full package, bought all of the extra plugins, everything you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I had those 5 tracks saved on a mini disc as like, you know, as files, and managed to basically remake them from scratch from that mini disc recording that I'd made.
From a mini disc recording. Wow.
Yeah. So that was the only copy of those songs that I'd made, because the PC that I'd made them on, that had got lost in a move, and it was all like, but these have been living rent free in my head for 20 years, and I thought, right, I'm gonna do something about it now.
Yeah.
And I remade them all, and because of I was so impressed with FL Studio. It's so intuitive, and I knew, and I kind of know what to do automatically. It was really easy to relearn it again, and because of that, I wrote 5 literally brand new songs, and they don't sound like 5 brand new songs. They sound very similar to the other 5 songs. So I was thinking, right, well, I've got an album now, and that was it. Yeah, that's it. Just goes to show you, like 20 years ago, these songs were in my head, and what is it now? Well, even that's 24 years ago that they were wrote. So. And that's why they do. That's why you gave me a really nice compliment of synth pop meets euphoric trance from the 90s.
Yeah,
and that literally makes so much sense, because that's what influenced me to make these songs, was like 1998 to the year 2003. All the banging trance that came out in that era.
Yeah,
is why this album happened. So
yeah,
it's been a long time in the making, shall we say?
Yeah, it has, and I think you can hear that in its authenticity, and the fact that also going back to what you were saying there about picking up FL Studio again recently. I mean, FL Studio, even though it's changed a bit, it's still quite similar to what it was, you know, previous to like FL20 was when they did most. Or was it FL? They changed it around. Was it FL12 or 20? And there was a big jump in the numbers. But I think I started on FL9, so that was quite a long time ago. Yeah. So it was around 12.
Even back then, it sounded amazing. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of the massive big hits were made on FL9.
A lot of them were. I mean, there's a lot of people who were using Cubase, rewiring it with Reason for the NN19 sampler, and like all these other little workarounds. And I think most people, I think it depends how you started learning, doesn't it? At the end of the day, it depends. Like, it's very situational. I think a lot of it is also the country you're from, your age as well will come into that, and also what kind of background you come from. I find like the more classical people, or people that have done it more educational wise, have usually been like Logic, or before that Cubase kind of thing. But I think you got to try a few, haven't you? But I just want to go to, there was a question from Control 4 who said, how do you finish a whole he has trouble finishing like a track. How have you finished like a whole album? How did you manage to do that?
Yeah, that's something that you mentioned to me when I first met you. You said you were impressed with the fact that I can write a track, get it finished, get it done, and then that's it, and move on.
And draw a line under it,
Yeah, a lot of people struggle with that. So Control 4, Control 4 official, yeah. So when I listen back to these tracks, there are still things that I would change. but it's like a Bob Ross painting.
Yeah.
You've got to finish it at some point, otherwise you can never sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is it. Well, that's art for you. I think it's Rick Rubin says that as well. He says about it's not about. I can't even. I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's something to do with. It will never be finished, but you've just got to know when to finish it.
When to stop, because you can start ruining it if you get to a point. But I always have. I always have a structure. I'm quite proud of my songwriting, like ability and knowledge. So like, what I do is like some of my tracks. You'll probably, as a listener, you'll probably look at this and go, "Oh fucking hell! It's 9 minutes long," and then one of them will be 6 minutes 26, but they'll both feel as long as each other. Because when I listen to my songs, I listen to them, and if I get bored at any point, I know that section's gone on for too long.
Yes.
Like if I get bored and it's like, oh no, that's gone on too long. So like when I start with an intro, I build it, I keep the listener interested with new things going on, whether it's a synth or a new hi-hat coming in or something. And it's the same with the outro. You just got to reverse the intro. So if you stick to that formula of sometimes write the hook, get the main thing done, build the intro, and do the outro as the exact opposite of the intro, fade it out so it's not uninteresting. It's got to still be, different things have still got to be happening, and then if you stick to that formula, you can't really go wrong.
I mean, for dance music in particular, I'm just in the middle of doing a track at the moment that I've been working on the last. Well, I started it a couple of months ago. I forgot about it, and I was like, So I went back to it over the last couple of days, and I'm in arrangement stage of it right now. And one of the things that I'm always really aware of is, and it works out in dance music for me, is every 16 bars something's added or something's taken away. And I think by doing it in that way, every 16 bars. To 8 plus 8. It's enough time.
Interesting.
It keeps it interesting, and that's when you're expecting something to come in and come out. So that is a good rule of thumb for dance music. I was going to ask you as well. Do you find, because obviously you play a lot of cover music in the bands and things like that, do you find it easy to make your own music? Do you find yourself lending ideas to or being inspired by, certain chord progressions from other music that you play in different genres?
I'm going to try and... so what I'm hoping, like you said, like you mentioned earlier, touched on earlier, that I'm starting afresh with this. I'm a complete unknown. I just happen to secretly have made 10 trance songs and managed to get an album signed by a top DJ, just randomly. But I'm a complete unknown. No one knows who I am. I'm a guitarist in a country band, but I want to try and build an authentic following, like from the beginning, like from the start, so that my fans are authentic, so that I'm not just a one-hit wonder who just gets a flash in the pan. I'd like to build on that. And honestly, as far as making music, I find it really easy. I watched the Avicii documentary, and without comparing myself to him at all, he said something which rings true with me. He said that I'm full of music, so I can literally sit down, and I can usually come up with something, but it's being in the moment when that happens. That doesn't always happen. So if I don't feel like sitting down, I won't, and I won't ever force anything. So like, and I'm going to try and start upping my sort of online presence, and maybe do a few videos showing like how I actually made some of the tracks. And a few formulas that I stick to with chord progressions, because I teach theory up to like grade 8 and beyond. It's really helpful knowing how keys work and how inversions of certain melodies can completely change the sound of like there's a few formulas that I use like with the synth, and that's like if you stick to the bass line and add a minor third on top of that 2 octaves above and follow a structure, you can come up with some really interesting synth patterns. So like I find it, without sounding like some kind of like big-headed, I find it really easy, and that's why I love trance music. I find it easier than writing like a rock song. A lot easier.
That's really interesting, because because being classically trained myself, but not as to the standard that you are, and I don't teach theory. However, that knowledge, that discipline is very helpful. However, personally, I think in certain genres, I initially found it a bit of a hindrance because that discipline was stopping me from being okay with dissonant tones. And, like certain, for example, the Phrygian scale for techno. Phrygian is a scale. Very strange sounding. It sounds very dissonant. And being classically trained, that to me was because I didn't understand it as being called a scale in its own right. I wouldn't ever even think to go down those kind of musical roads. So I think in the beginning, for me, I found it quite debilitating having this knowledge of theory. And also the other thing that I found was my progressions and my ideas were very generic. But maybe that was because of the fact that I didn't push through far enough with it. So I think if you started to do videos of you showing, like the way that your ideas and the way that you go about, these progressions, and like you said, putting a minor third 2 octaves above the bass line, all of these kind of things that I'm thinking to myself now, like, oh, what would that sound like that to me? Because the thing that you're doing there, the reason why this is so important, this knowledge, and please everyone go and learn music theory, the reason why this is so helpful is because you can consistently make music that sounds musical and good every single time, instead of just it being a flash in the pan, or that one sounded good, but not knowing how you got to that place. This is why it's so
because
important.
you know how the chords work within a key, so you know whether it's going to be a minor third or a major third. I'd really like to start doing some helpful music theory for trance producers, I think.
Nice.
Because I'm quite good with melodies. I can always make quite like a good earworm. A lot of the tracks, I would say, have got a lot of earworms sort of planted in them.
Your whole album does. I've got Digital Dreams in my head constantly at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that is just right. There you go. Like my life is made if just one person has listened to one of my songs, and then they're in the queue at Morrison's.
I've been the last 2 days. I have had it in my head constantly, and there was another one as well. There's a second one that's been in my head. I can't remember which one it was now.
Imagine it being in your head for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then finally, somebody like yourself takes a chance on you and decides, fuck it, I'll sign him.
I completely believe in you 100%. And like the thing is with my label, it's a very small label, and I'm honoured to have it on the label.
That doesn't matter. We just need to grow it. That's all. Yeah,
exactly. This is it. And I truly believe in what you're doing. And I want everyone else to hear it now as well. I think we'll do first of all, we're going to show everyone the little video on YouTube. If you just put in the chat as well, say hello to everyone in the chat, because then they'll follow you on Twitch as well.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll say hi.
And so we're going to watch the video, and then we're going to actually watch, we're going to listen to one of the tracks off the album called Paradolia Faces. So here we go. This is the YouTube advert for the album.
Okay, awesome.
Hang on, that's not it. It keeps doing this to me. It's because I need to refresh the cache of the current page. Here we go.
Is it an advert for toilet roll?
Oh God. I mean the next thing. Hang on a sec. Oh, technology, eh? No, that's not it either. Hang on. Because it did this earlier while we were talking. Let me just go and get it back again. So
It did.
You'll actually see Damien in this video as well. He appears in his own video, which is so cool.
I'm glad you think it's cool and not like massively
No, I do. I think it's
egotistical.
awesome. I think it's awesome. Oh, for fuck's sake. Hang on a second. Fresh browser.
We need some lift music, don't we?
We do, definitely. There we go. There we go. Hang on, let me just put my desktop audio on. I think that the audio is okay on that. I did turn off the desktop audio halfway through because I think it was doubling up, but if it was a bit weird, then just go and listen to the album. But I think it was okay. No one mentioned anything in the chat. Did you guys like that? How cool is that?
Just a little video that I whipped together using a bit of AI.
Yeah, it was really good. Really, really good. And I think it was really good that you put yourself in there as well.
Can you believe that's not me? It's just that I uploaded a photograph of the front of my face, a photograph of the side of my face, and it generated that person, which isn't actually me. Yeah, it's not me. That where it zooms into my eyes, I couldn't believe it. It's like, wow, we are fucked.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah,
What
the whole
AI
thing.
thingy did you use for it?
So I use LTX Studio. I've got a subscription that you pay for monthly, and that's how I generated the other for the title track "Digital Dreams" as a full-on 7-minute video, which I was just sort of getting used to the software.
Wow.
And then for that advert, it's all text. You write, you generate an image based on a text prompt.
Yeah.
And then you create a piece of footage by telling it what to do, and then slice them all together to make one complete video. So it's all completely AI.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm just going to interrupt you there because we've just had a massive raid.
Yay.
We've had a massive raid from Kutski, nonetheless. Hello, Kutski. Welcome in, Raiders. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Yeah,
welcome in. We're just having an interview with DJS right now, who's made an entire album, which is out now on my label Transportal Digital. And it's called Digital Dreams. If you put ! Digital Dreams in the chat, the link will come up there where you'll be able to stream the whole album from Spotify. You can buy it from Beatport, and you can listen to it on iTunes as well. Massive thank you to Kutski there. What better time to listen to one of the tracks off the album now? We're going to have a listen to Paradolia. So let's just get that one on. Okay, here we go.
Awesome.
My computer's being weird.
Are you ready?
There we go. Wow. What an absolute tune, mate. Woo! Absolute tune, mate. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sitting all the way through that.
I think I've just broken. I think I got a bit too loud then. Have you put your sound up a little bit? That's better.
There we go.
There we go. You enjoyed the tunes too much. That's what you were doing.
Can I just say that one is very long on purpose.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I keep referring to my absolute icon and the reason why this album happened, Steve, the Thrill Seekers, Steve. I remember being at Golden in the year 2000, and it was his on motion mix, and it was like his extended how he wanted to hear it sort of mix.
Yeah.
And it was the very, very last song, and it goes on for about 8.5 minutes, and that was I just wanted to have like a really long. Hopefully, it didn't go on too long, but it was like the end of the album.
No, it was like you said earlier on. It moves around. It didn't feel boring at any stage. And this is the thing, right? We're in an age now where people are making tracks shorter and shorter, and we know why. They say, well, we say a lot of the time that it's attention span and stuff, but I think people do still have attention spans. I think there's a great. It's just consumerism of music has changed. We have the TikTok era now, but I think that people still like to be taken on a journey within a track and a track to tell a story, and this definitely does that.
Awesome. Thank you you so much for having me on and doing this. It's amazing. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. We really, really appreciate it. I just before we move on, because I've got a few other tunes to get through this evening, but I wanted to ask you a question from Fatman, who asked if you used AI in the production of the actual music because you've used it in the video.
Oh, absolutely not. So this concept. So this might sound a bit strange, but the melody for the title track "Digital Dreams" literally came to me in a dream, and I wrote the song the next day.
Yeah.
And I just had that dun 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 dun, and I was like, I woke up, and
that's the one that's in my head all the time. By the
way, and that's amazing. That is a big track, I think, potentially, and I had the idea of, because I was studying computers, and I had the idea that in about 20-30 years time we were going to have artificial intelligent robots sort of doing our bidding, and like we'd have like helper people that were actually artificial digital robots. And then I started going down the line of what if robots became conscious, and what if they started to dream, which is where I came up with the idea of digital dreams. And then I've tried to keep the whole album on this kind of space, science, universe, digital AI sort of concept. But none of the music is AI. That's all DS, me. But I used the AI just to make a video so people had something to watch while they listened to the tracks. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very. I think the thing is, right, we all are. If you're a photographer or if you're a graphic designer, you don't like AI on that side of things. But if you're a musician or you're an artist, you're a music producer, you don't like AI on our side of things. It's really weird because it's kind of like we're all kind of like, what's the word for it? We're hypocrites really to it, but we are. But I think that's okay. I think it's all right because you can't do everything, right? And we're in an age now where if there's any time where I can pay for someone to do graphic design stuff for me for like logos and stuff. I've done that. For that kind of thing. But it's I think this is just something that we're all always not going to see eye to eye on in terms of like the graphic designers won't see music being a problem to use AI with, whereas I'm still very much in the camp of you should be using your own creativity, because the thing is, right, if you don't use creativity, you'll stop finding the signs, you'll stop feeling like you're part of the universe, you'll stop because these ideas will come to fruition whether or not you pick them up or whatever or not. They'll be picked up by someone else. They are, in my mind, they are living entities in their own right. They want to be born into the physical world, and they are hanging around in the ether waiting for someone to be on that level to be able to recognize what it is and express it through us humans. And I think that there's something very, very unique about that, for us as musicians or anyone who's doing anything in a creative way. So, I agree. Yeah, I think it's important that we do stay creative. I think also it's good to use AI for certain stuff. Also there's algorithmic stuff, so we need to work out what we actually mean by AI as well in terms of music. So algorithmic stuff has been around for a very long time, so stuff like Fab Filter, that kind of thing, or even auto gain in a sense could be seen as being algorithmic. But when it comes to actually using a prompt and getting something to spurt out a track, I think you kind of I think you could use aspects of that. I think if you were getting a little bit of writer's block or whatever, but I think as long as you do the majority of it yourself. But if for someone like you said, you're just constantly hearing music in your mind all the time, and that's amazing.
Honestly, if you can just learn a little bit of music theory, how chords fit within a key, you don't need AI. You don't need AI. You can generate chord structures by randomizing numbers. Honestly, like you can make chord progressions by randomizing 4 numbers of a key, and then you've got 4 chords that work. And if you can just understand music theory, you don't need AI to generate those chords. You can do it yourself. I do it with my students all the time.
Yeah. And again, that ties back into, I think you should definitely do some videos showing us these techniques, because I'll be watching that definitely. I know I'll always learn something from someone like yourself, and thank you so much for all of this insight.
Thank you, Amber.
Honestly, it's been amazing. And guys, please make sure you go and listen to the entire album. It's out on Spotify, and if you want to download it to play in your DJ sets as well,
that'd be amazing. That is all I'm in here for, is to get some DJs that actually like the songs and that want to put it out there for people to dance to. If I can get people to dance to my music, that's it. I will die a happy man.
Yay! Well, you can't die yet because you need to make some more albums first.
Don't you worry. I've already since that first 10 tracks, I've already written 5 more.
Oh my God! Can you do a video on how to do that, please? Yeah, I can. I'm gonna do it. Honestly, I'm gonna do it. Brilliant. Oh, Damien, thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate
Thank you. Thanks, Amber.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
It. See you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, mate.
Thank you.
Oh, how amazing. I'm so proud of him. But yeah, guys, make sure that you go and check out Damien's work over on Spotify. I'm just going to move this over a little bit. I think my chat box is massive. That's what she said. Where is it? Hang on. Oh, it's okay. Oh no, that's why, because I'm not in the middle of the screen. There we go. No one likes a massive box. Exactly, Richie. But how cool is Damien? It's just amazing what he's done there. So yeah, make sure you go and check out the whole album. Yeah, it's been an honour to have him on the label. So yeah. Okay, so we have a few people in today for tracks that we're going to go and have a listen to now. Let me just make sure I've got everything set up how I need to. Yes, we are good to go. So the first one today is Sean Mitchell. Sean Mitchell has done a track called African Welcome. So here we go. There we go. That is Sean Mitchell, African Welcome. I really like this tune. I think it took a while to get to the best bit. But it could just be because it's the first time I've heard it. But there were some real moments in that. Some real moments in there. The ideas are great. It's a really original sounding tune. It's simple for the right reasons. And that vocal's great. Yeah, I really, really liked it. I really liked it. Maybe the only thing that's irking me a little bit is the arrangement slightly. But it was fine after about after the first breakdown. For me, it felt like it had locked in. Really, really nice. Really nice. African vocals always sound awesome. Always. And yeah, I really, really, really like this tune. Sean, you are an absolute legend. So, yeah. Really, really nice. Well done. Yay! Go and follow Sean Mitchell, please, over on Linktree. Show him some love. Yeah. Awesome tune. Next up, I've got a very strange song. That's not my words, by the way. That is the words of some guy called Pete, who has said this is his weirdest song yet. So you know it's going to be strange. Pete, is he here? So this is McGrady and the Ruff Mate, and it's called ITATDM. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing it's short for something, but I don't know what. So it's ITATDM. I want your worst ideas of what that means, please, in the chat. And let's have a listen.
up. LMFAO, putting on that happy face and cracking me up.
There we go. That is a Ruff Mate and McGrady. I don't know what that stands for. ITATDM, but I do like some of your ideas in the chat. I'm not going to say them. I'm not going to repeat them because I am a lady and I wouldn't do that. But you all saw it. So, yeah, very random. Very avant-garde. Is that the right way to say it? Stop it, Richie. I like this. Enigma meets 9 Inch Nails. Yeah, it's really... I can't even describe it. And I like that. I like the fact that I can't really say much on it because it means that it's new. It means that it's, you know, undiscovered territory. So these are the kinds of tunes that if you can make stuff like this is the kind of stuff that could either go viral or it could be on an advert, you know, or someone could have it for a game or whatever, you know, because it's not the same old cookie cutter, blah, 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 hard house, trance, whatever tune, hard style tune, techno, whatever. Like, it thinks it's outside of those boundaries, and that takes a very special kind of mind to be able to do that and make it sound believable. Do you guys know what Witch House Screwgaze is over there? Never heard of it. I've never heard of it anyway. That doesn't mean it's not a thing. It just means I've not heard of it. I live a very sheltered life, though. The things I know, right? These are the things I know about. Vinyl. What else is in here? Hard house. UK mainly. Euro hard trance. Techno. BXR record label. Final Fantasy games. Self-help books. Different types of teas. Parenting. Self-development. That's it. Those are all the things that I know about. Computers. I know about computers. That's it. I don't know what Witch House is, though. Yeah. I mean, I don't... How many things can you know? How many? How many things can you know? I don't know. How many things? I'd love some really clever friends. If you're really clever, do you want to be my mate? That'd be awesome. Please be my friend. This is the thing, right? If you're really clever, you probably wouldn't want to be my friend. No, you would actually, because I'd make you feel really, really, really clever. If you have an IQ of over 10, you can be my friend. Yay! Pikey says, I'm pretty clever, actually. Yes, you are, because you're here. Richie says, my IQ is 69. I think mine, now I did an IQ test years ago, but I think I'd been up for about 3 days when I'd done it. And I think I got like 92 or something. Which I think's quite average. But I might try doing it, you know, when my brain's not fried. Oh. Not as clever in musicals, says Sam, but good at crafts. That'll do. That'll do. Where were we? What were we talking about? Oh my God, my brain. We were talking about something. Music, yes. Oh yes, that's why we're here. So we were talking about McGrady, the Ruff Mates track. Yeah, so, okay, back on it. So I like the fact that I can't really talk much about his music. Because there's something really, really interesting about being able to make tunes and not have it, not doing it for any other reason other than the love of doing it. And I think that's a really important thing to remember to do. Something that I have to constantly remind myself to do. And I'll talk about it. I'll tell you lot how important it is to just do music for the sake of making it, and just do it for the love of making it, and being childlike and playful with it. But it's really difficult to actually do that in practice. I find that really difficult because I always start making something for as a means to an end, like it's going to be released. Maybe that's just because of being, you know, in this industry for a long time, but I do think it's really important for us to remember to just make things and try new stuff and just be like, okay, I wonder what happens if I do X, Y, and Z. Because that's how new things are made, and that's how we keep things moving. That's how we keep things interesting and not static. So, yeah. Oh, he's here. Thank you, mate. It's a mental release and another shot at childhood dream. Want to pitch this for films. I literally was just saying that earlier, that I could see this being in a film. I could see it being in some, you know, somewhere where you need something weird. If you need some weird music, just go and speak to the Ruff, mate. Job done. Oh, yeah, I love it, mate. I think you're awesome. And again, I get so inspired by you. You do remind me to have fun with music and to let go of any expectations. It really is. I can't stress it enough how important that is, because if you have expectations when we're making music, it can get very frustrating, and we can end up berating ourselves and not having a lot of fun when it comes to making music. So honestly, it's something that I have to remind myself of every time I'm in the studio. And every time I'm in the studio and I'm just making something just for fun, it always, without fail, turns into something awesome. Every time. But if I go in the studio thinking, oh, I'm going to make this track and it's going to be on XYZ label or whatever, it won't ever happen because you're putting too much expectations on yourself. So yeah, be a bit more like the Ruff, mate. Well done, mate. Love you. Yeah, fuck genres. Next up, we've got DJ Campbell. DJ Campbell in the house. Yeah. Here we go. This is a track by DJ Campbell and it's called Into the Night. Into Night. Oh, wow. DJ Campbell does it again. What an absolute tune. Love it. I love the original by The Streets anyway, so this was just... I've not thought about that tune for a really, really long time. So yeah, I really liked it because I love the original. So hearing it in a bounce tune, wasn't expecting it. Absolutely loved it. Very, very strong tune. Very clean. Really great use of... yeah, with his build-ups, as always. And keeping that energy high throughout and changing it around as well. It didn't get too samey at any point. Really, really, really nice. Great donk. Yep. Awesome tune. Thank you, DJ Campbell, for sending this in. And guys, make sure you go and follow DJ Campbell, please. If you are watching this back on YouTube as well, all of the all of the music producers, all the artists that you're listening to, you can find their socials in the comments, not in the comments, in the description of the video. They're all in there. So yeah, awesome tune. Awesome. Thank you very much. Next up, we've got Arctic Barbers. Oh my God. Yay! I love the Arctic Barbers. Oh, I love them. So this is a track called Dance So Hard. Here we go. Oh my God. Before I start, guys, make sure you go and follow the Arctic Barbers, please, on SoundCloud. There is the link. I know that you are in the chat right now. I'm just, wow. It was, the switch ups in that were awesome. It had a kind of like, it gave me like an old school Sander Van Doorn tech trance kind of feel to it, you know, like with your big claps with the gated reverbs in there, and some of the percussion in there lended to that era stylistically. But then we've got this up to date. You've got the offbeat bass lines, and then it went into your rolling bass lines and the switch ups between the two. I think there was even a third bass line in there as well for a section of it. I really like that because it kind of keeps, it does keep things moving along and keeps things very interesting. And it can be difficult to do that and it sound believable or coherent and in like one piece of music, but it was done really, really well, and I liked that about it, because changing up the bass line like that, switching it up, really creates a different feel and a different pace, and that locks you back in again. It locks in the listener. And I think that was a really, really, that's one of the main things that I took from that. And I like the vocal as well. Nice cheeky little vocal in there. And having a little cheeky vocal like that and lends itself to having that kind of like fun, cheeky aspect to the other elements in there as well. And I loved that about it. I think it was a really strong track. It's very memorable. Listened to it once, and I didn't even listen to it before the show. Usually I will listen through to make sure someone's not sending me white noise or whatever, but I know you guys well. I knew it would be a banger, so that I heard it for the first time along with everyone else right now, and yeah, I loved it. Thank you for sending it in, and what an amazing tune. So thank you. We weren't too sure about it, understandably so, because it is a different tune and it's something really weird. Like me and Guy, my other half, Guyver, as some of you know him as, we talk about this a lot. We have a lot of conversations about music, and the one thing that we know and we've spoken about before between us is you can't ever really choose the tune of yours that other people like the most. It's really weird, because like you say there that you weren't sure about it. It's because you're letting in that doubt and that worry of what the expectations are. We were literally just discussing this before. I was just talking about it, where I can be like that. I can get very much inside my head when I'm making a tune, and I don't want to stray too far off the known beaten track of what is expected from whatever genre you're making. And it's really interesting. It was really important to remember that it doesn't really matter what you think about your music in once you put it out there, but other people will tell you which one's your best tune, so to speak. Going back to what I was saying about me and Guy having this chat, it was because of one of Guy's albums, or all the albums that he's done, but we were discussing, like, it's really weird which track of his specifically people talk about the most. And for his last album, it was a track called White Rabbit, which is about mental health and about getting sectioned, and it's the one that most people talk about. And in fact, this tune actually reminds me quite a bit actually of White Rabbit. But it's really strange how that's the one that people, responded to or related to or was most memorable. But yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, you can't really control what your listeners hear when they listen to your tune, and maybe this is a good example of that. I think this is a great tune, but if you were second guessing yourself too much, you might have never put this out or tamed it down or something. But wow, I think it's awesome. So well done, you. It is a banger, isn't it, George? Welcome in, by the way. Loved it. Keep them coming, please. And be weird. Please be weird. Be weird for mummy. Be weird for mummy. Thank you. Next up, we've got M14, and this is called Wrong Speed.
I'm sorry, I hit the turntable at the wrong speed. Want to try it again?
There we go. That is M14, Wrong Speed. I remember that vocal. I remember hearing it in a hard house tune by Tony DeLeon called Black is Black. Black is Black is Black is Black. And it's in that. Yeah. And I like this tune. I think it's a really cool hard house tune, right? I really do. I think it needs a little bit of something else. Maybe an acid line in there. Maybe a little bit more changing up in the sections. How long is it? Okay, it's 8 minutes 49 seconds. If you're going to be that long, it needs to be for a reason. So I think it could be whittled down a bit. However, saying that, a lot of these kinds of hard house tunes, the time is the intro and the outro there. But I think it's a really strong hard house tune, but it just needs something else in there. Or it doesn't. Don't listen to me if this is finished. What I'm saying here, I think, is more subjective than anything else. It's something that I would do, or what I would be looking for if I was going to sign it, for example. However, just as a song in itself, it's awesome. It is awesome. Everything sounded really well mixed down. You did send it me not normalized, so I did have to like bump up the volume a bit, which is fine. But sometimes, you know, if you're sending something to a label, if you don't normalize it, i.e. bringing it back up to -1 dB or 0 dB, we all know about the loudness, like not the loudness war. This is more to do with perceived loudness, or something perceived to sound better because it's louder. And my thought is, if you send a track that's lower in volume, and someone's just listening to it quickly, they might not really understand how good it is because it's not loud enough. And not everyone's got a limiter available to bump up the volume like I have on my mixer on my OBS. I can just put a limiter on there. And also, if like a record label owner is listening to your track along with many others, and they are normalized and yours isn't, they might just like, oh, I'm not going to listen to that, or I can't even hear it, because they're not necessarily going to put the volume all the way up, because then when they listen to the next tune, it's going to be too loud, so then it's going to make them go, ah! Do you know what I mean? So yeah, just as a little tip, if you when you send stuff out, even if it's unmastered, just bump it back up to 0 dB so we can hear it properly. But I think it sounded well balanced. I think it was a strong hard house tune, but personally I would have probably added an acid line in there. What I did like though was what you were doing with the bass line. It was very Psytrance-esque. You did a few, like, and you left it a little bit later as well until you did like these little inflections in the bass line, and I really liked that. I thought it sounded really cool, and that was keeping the interest there for me quite a lot. So yeah, well done, mate. M14. Oh, there you go. Bosky says, I'd be interested in signing this with a couple of changes. Get in touch with M14, Bosky. There you go. You might have signed your song. There you are. That's what we do on this show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We change lives. Get you signed. We're gonna make you a star. Well, Bosky is. Yay! DJ Lives Matter. Yeah! How cool's that? That is really cool. Well done, Bosky. No, in all seriousness, like, this is why this show exists, because it's been so helpful getting a lot of your first tunes signed to labels, getting you off the starting block, get yourself out there. Get your music on Spotify, like with Damien's album, which I've signed to Transporter Digital. You guys know how many of these tunes I've signed to one of my record labels. There's been quite a few now over the years. So yeah, it is vital that shows like this exist. We also have Control 4 Official, who does a show like this as well. So I think it's really important that we do give a platform to new artists and get your music out there, because so many of you are good, and I don't think a lot of you realise how good you are. I think some of you think that it's all right, or sometimes you actually don't, and you can be quite, because it's a vulnerable thing. It's a vulnerable thing showing people, what goes on in your mind and what you've expressed. You could be singing on that song. You could have written it about, a dead relative or something. And, that's a very, very vulnerable place to be from when you show people stuff like that. Imagine if you'd written a song, right? About your dead nan. Oh, I fucking love you, nan. Love you, I miss you so much. And you go and write a lovely song. And then you put it on the internet and people are like, oh, fucking shit. That's the worry, isn't it? That's the worry. And people are dicks, man, and people will be like that. So it's a horrible, it's a very vulnerable thing to do, is to put yourself out there and put your music out there. But we have to do it. We have to do it at some point. It's really important. So keep your music coming to this show, other shows as well. And it gets easier. I used to hate showing people my music. Oh my God, I used to absolutely hate it. I used to talk all the way through it. I'd show someone something that I was making. I was like, don't listen to that bit. This bit's a bit wrong at the moment. And then I'd be like, just shut up and let me have a listen to it, for God's sake. But I'd be like so apologetic about it. And then after a while, you just stop caring. And you get used to it. You don't stop caring. You just get used to it. You just get used to... no, it doesn't, Dr. Drew Clue. Your stuff's amazing. Well done, M14. But yeah, it gets easier. But you either get used to the rejection, which is a good thing to get used to. Yay! Rejection, it's the best. Yeah, we all know what that feels like. If you can't deal with rejection, though, I think you should just get a more stable hobby, really. Like, I don't know, what would be, a hobby that doesn't involve rejection. Stamp collecting, that would be a good one. Yeah, do that. Thank you, M14. Undertaker, yeah. Oh. Again, though, okay, I know I'm joking about this, right? But I know I'm joking about it. But I think it's really important that that's something that it's about this is where my train of thought's going again with this. It's about expectations, isn't it? And it's about external validation, this need for external validation, and turning that inwards and just validating yourself. I think that's a really strong place to be in if you can get to that stage. I think it's actually really important that you do. I think when you get to that ability to be able to just make, like we were saying before, make music for the sake of doing it, and leaning less or needing less external validation, especially when it comes to your music and your artistry. I think it's a very powerful place to be in. So yeah, I used to do stamp collecting, actually, Mikey. Yeah, I've actually still got all my stamps. I started doing stamp collecting at school because I was bullied really badly at school. I'm only cool now because I have a cool job, but I wasn't very cool at school. I was bullied very badly, and we had a stamp collecting club in break time. So it was the way that I could, and it was in the library at school, so it was the way that I could not be in the way of the bullies, because the bullies wouldn't have gone in the library. So I used to go to the library every break time and every lunchtime with all the other nerds that probably went on to do like Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer and stuff. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I got really into stamp collecting. And I've still got all my stamps. But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's weird that it's weird how you get into stuff. But yeah, I actually enjoyed it. Hello, Twiddle. How are you doing? Bullies tend to like attacking those who shine in themselves. I was a cheeky bugger. Yeah, that is true. I know that now. I think people sense when you're a bit different, and when you're at school, that can be very, very hard, to be different or to because you don't really want to be different when you're at school. You want to fit in. It's really important that you do fit in. You just want to be normal. It's not until you leave school and you get older that you really value your authenticity and who you are as a person. I found it really... I actually liked the fact that I was ostracized. Is that the word? Ostracized from the cool people at school. Because don't you think, like, the ones that were cool and the ones that were popular at school, sorry if this applies to you, by the way, but this is kind of true. The ones that were really cool and popular at school, they always ended up being really boring adults. Or they ended up not doing much, because they kind of just relied on the fact that they were really popular at school. Yeah, they didn't really... I think the more interesting ones were the ones that suffered. I think that's kind of like anyone that I remembered who was at school, who was pretty quiet or was bullied, they've all gone on to do quite really cool things. Kind of like Revenge of the Nerds kind of thing. But yeah, so my kids are very popular at school. And they came back from school once ages ago and they're like, so-and-so's coming to my party, so-and-so's coming to my party. Like, all right, that's a lot of people. And they're like, oh yeah, we're very popular at school. And I went, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. And they were like, what? I was like, it doesn't matter. I didn't mean it. Because but I was genuinely worried for a while. I was like, God, if they're going to be popular at school, that means they're going to end up like, not really, they're not going to be interesting kids, but no, they are. And they're not that popular anymore either. So I was like, oh, thank God for that. Brilliant. A little bit of, what's the word? Pushing against that. I think it's important for them, really. I do. I think it's good that, I think it's good that you find yourself, like the song, you find yourself not through being popular, but you find yourself through having to be on your own and finding your own peace, especially as a kid. But yeah. But yeah, it is difficult. Next up, we've got, oh my God, I'm just reading the chat. Pikey's kid hit a kid for being ginger the other day and put him in the locker for 45 minutes. Wow. So there's a thing about bullies though, like when kids are bullies, and I'm not saying that this has come from you, but I maybe just have a bit of a chat with him, because I think sometimes when kids are bullies, it's because they feel bullied themselves. So either he's picked that up from someone around him, or he might have an older brother or something like that. But yeah, usually just talking to kids can help. I bullied someone for one day, and I felt so bad about it. The reason why I bullied her was because I was getting very badly bullied, and I could only do it for one day, and I felt so bad about it. I found her on something called Friends Reunited years ago. It's probably about 20 years ago now. And there was a website called Friends Reunited, and I found her on there, and I wrote her a big long message just explaining to her how sorry I was and the reason why I bullied her, and she completely forgave me. But yeah, that's why I'm explaining that to you now, is sometimes kids will will act out in that way because they feel bullied themselves. So either he might be shouting at home, or he might have anger issues himself, and he needs to kind of like harness that energy somewhere else. But yeah, he wants me to take him boxing, but I don't think I should. He does it because everyone thinks he's funny and gets respect and doesn't get started on himself. I think you should take him to boxing. I think that would be really good for him. I think it would be, it would help him to have some kind of discipline behind it. And if he's asking you to take him, just try it. Just get him sparring. He doesn't need to go in and do like tournaments or anything like that. And there's a lot of health and safety stuff going on these days. But yeah, just try it. Why not? It's going to be better than what's happening at the moment, isn't it? But yeah, let me know how that goes, Pikey. Next up, we have got Bouncing Forces, and this is called Hello Dreams.
Is there anybody out there?
So there we go, Bouncing Forces, and that's called Hello Dreams. Lovely mashup of, I don't know that vocal, I've not heard that vocal before, but I've certainly heard the dreams aspect of it. I think that worked really, really well. You know what bounce is like? Bounce is usually a dunk remix of a well-known tune, maybe that's just come out or something that's a classic. I quite like this idea of mashing up two well-known things to create something new in the donk genre, because it at least is like we're doing something a lot more different than just a donk remix of things. And it's really nice when you find a vocal that just slots over really nicely into a chord progression that was not necessarily the one that's from the original where the vocal's from, and and then finding like two songs that work really well with each other. I like that concept. So yeah, more of that please. Thank you very much, mate. I think Wayne is in the chat as well. Wayne, I really, really like this tune. I like the melody as well, the riff, and just the general idea of it was really cool. So yeah, guys, can you make sure you go and follow Bouncing Forces, please? Again, very similar to Campbell, in the energy and the cleanness of the track itself. I really liked it. I thought it was really nice, really good idea as well. So yay! Big hello to Mama T. Hello to everyone that's just got here as well. Now for one of my favourites. It's People Like Us. Here we go. I love a bit of People Like Us. And this track is called Ketamine.
You are now entering the K-hole. Your blood is pumping, but your body is paralyzed. You are trapped inside the echoes of your thoughts. What you are about to experience is something that you will never be able to explain. Can you really be sure you are who you think you are? Can you really be sure you are who you think you are?
Oh, Billy, have a look on this. Oh, fuck, what is that, man? Jesus, fuck. What the fucking is that, man? Jesus,
Conclusion? Cat is for horses, you dumb motherfucker.
There we go. That is People Like Us and Ketamine. What a tune. What a tune. Yeah. Love that. Awesome techno drums there. Really cool idea. Really fun. I think I've heard that vocal before. Maybe in an Organ Donors track or something. But yeah, I liked it. I like the fun shouting and the vocals in there, and yeah, I thought it was really cool. Again, very People Like Us. What the kind of stuff I've come to expect from People Like Us. The vocals in a hardcore track too, says Holly Ann. But yeah, and Organ Donors as well. Yeah, really, really cool idea. Loved it. But yeah, can you please make sure that you go and follow People Like Us, and of course the other people who we've had on this evening. Like I said before, it's going out on YouTube. If you're watching this back on YouTube, if you go into the description, everyone's SoundCloud links and stuff are there for you to go and support, or even get in contact with these artists if you're a record label owner or you really like one of these artists' types of music and you want to collab with them, reach out to them. That's what we're here for, is to, build a network and bring you guys together. And so that is our show today, and what a show it's been. Thank you so much to all of you for being here. Massive thank you to Damien for giving us a bit of insight into his album earlier on, and like I said, you can go and listen to the full album now on Spotify. Just follow the link here, Digital Dreams, or of course it will be in the description on YouTube as well. Yeah, thank you everyone. I'm just going to find us a raid target.